Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com, FamilyPetAncestry.com. You're probably already there. Let's do the credits. Mike Rickberg composed and sang that song with his wife, Sarah, that you just heard. He's going to sing his version of the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. Patrick Brady is going to fix this audio, and Vilmos works on JackieCation.com, the website. There are many ways to support the show. The Amazon link is one. You can use an Amazon link from JackieCation.com or DorkForest.com to go to Amazon. You order like normal, and it supports the show. There is a straight-up donation button, PayPal or Venmo, to this email address that is mine, Jackie at JackieCation.com, where you can just donate to the show if you like the show a lot. I think PayPal has figured out a way to do a monthly. If you want to go monthly, please do. Other ways to support the show if you want to is you can buy merch. There's Dork Forest t-shirts, and all the shirts are union made here in America, so they run a little big. Union Bayside, so if you want to look up their size chart. And then the other merch is my stand-up merch. On JackieCation.com, you can watch me do stand-up, you can look at my schedule, and the stand-up merch, a couple of different t-shirts, couple of different enamel pins, and all of my CDs and my DVD. If you want to live stream my DVD, it's over there at comedyfilmnerds.com. They have a live streaming capability, or you can get a hard copy of the DVD on my website. Oh, there are premium episodes at Bandcamp. TheDorkForest.bandcamp.com has probably 10 episodes that were done live. They cost me a couple of bucks to make, so I charge you a couple of bucks. If you've run out of regular episodes, go over to TheDorkForest.bandcamp.com and get some more. Other than that, I say this, let's get into the show. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in the green room of the Comedy Works Greenwood in Denver, Colorado. And we're doing a podcast because I just did her podcast and I did whatever. I'm at the Comedy Works and I'm with Denise Plante. Hello and welcome to the show, Denise Plante.
I am so excited to be here on your podcast. I'm a fan, and I will tell you, this is my first ever guest appearance on a podcast.
This is it. Attainable goal, it turns out, to be on other people's pod. This, I would like to apologize in advance because I might have released a floodgate of people going, oh, she's willing to do a podcast? So it is at Denise Plante Denver is your Twitter and Instagram and all the things, right?
E at the end of plant.
Yes.
Don't forget the E.
Denise and then Plante, Denver.
Yeah.
So, and it'll be in the notes. But you also, I did your second ever of your podcast, which is called Life and After with Denise and Deb.
What'd you think of it?
It was fun. It was really fun. Yeah, you know what? You have comics on your podcast. It's a bit of plug and play. So you were like, I don't know what I'm doing with, but we had just done like morning Colorado television, right?
So I host a TV show also. It's Colorado and Company.
Yeah.
And then I work radio, 106.7 The Bull for iHeart.
Right, which is country music.
Then I freelance for Daily Blast Live. I have like 10 jobs. And then I started this podcast.
Right, and your copious amounts of free time.
Yeah, of course. Which I'm learning so much. Like the gear that you have, I'm going to have to buy this so I can do it on the go.
I don't think so, because you're doing it in the studio right now, right?
Yeah, but if they can't come to me, I can go to them with the gear that you have.
Easily, and this is a simple setup. The headphone mic setup is a new, I got it from Brandy Posey and Lady to Lady. Barbara Gray hooked me up.
Fancy.
It's and easy, right? Because now we can just sort of kick back, talk.
Yeah, but the podcast, what I thought was interesting was when you came on, because it starts with Life and After with Denise and Deb. It starts with Deb Shepard, who's a psychic. Yeah. And she's supposed to, like read you for 5 to 10 minutes. And even if you don't believe, it's kind of fun. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
You were a difficult read.
Well, do you know why? And we talked about this. It's because I'm an open book.
Yeah.
And, but it's not, it's like I have, I did Karen and Kira Can Read is like, believe the name of their Kira and Karen Can Read, or Karen and Kira Can Read is the name of the Kira Sultanovich, Karen Rontowski psychic podcast.
That is a mouthful.
And it is a mouthful. And those two, I've known I've known Kira Rontowski for 30 years and I've known Kira for at least a dozen, or 10. So they have a better chance of sort of psychically reading me.
Because they know you well.
Yes.
Do you believe in it?
Well, I don't have a problem with actually, like I've been like one time when I used to babysit. I don't know. We're not going to talk about your dorkdom for a second, obviously.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. But the thing is the like I've been to psychics in malls, right? Like strip malls. They'll have in Los Angeles. There's tarot card readers. There's probably in 99 or 2000, I was babysitting for a friend of mine's kids. She's my friend now. She was my boss at the time. So I take her kid to acting classes, and then I have to kill an hour. Mm-hmm. So I walk down the hill, and I go to this strip mall, and there is a tarot card reader there. And it was probably 1998 or 99. And I had just started doing online dating. And so I was like, well, I have $20. Let's do this.
Let's find out who the man of my dreams is.
Yes, exactly. And so I go in, and in 1999, I got a cassette tape of that reading.
You do still?
No, I lost it. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I listened to it so much I did almost wear it out. I listened to it a shit ton, and it was dumb. But it was wonderful because she was so funny because she read these things, and I said, oh, we can do career. Well, let's do, because I just joined this online dating thing. Am I going to find a fella? And she reads it, and you can hear it in her voice. I wish I still had the tape. I swear to God, I wish I had it. Because she was like, yes, you're going to find a really amazing, and it was a woman I did not know. And she said, you're going to find an amazing guy who's going to be like your soulmate. And I was like, well, that seems unlikely. And she goes, no, this says that this is going to be a really powerful relationship. It's going to be a wonderful relationship. And I said, oh, wow. Okay, well, that's great. And then there's this pause on the tape, and she goes, I should tell you, this is a really slow card.
So meaning that it's going to take a while?
Yeah, this is going to take a second. And I met Andy Ashcraft, my fella.
Yeah.
My current fella. What is
your
happening?
Soulmate. Your soulmate. Don't forget those two important words.
Here's the good news. He doesn't listen to this show. No, but I met him 4 years later, like 3 or 4 years later. Wow. And which can seem like an eternity if you're dating.
Yeah.
And
I told my boys, by the way, who your husband is, and they were like, Mom, I gotta meet her and meet him.
Well, they'd like to meet him, really, is what they want to do. They're going to meet me and go, so what games do you play? And I'm like, Marvel Puzzle Quest on my phone.
So this might take it a little deep, but the reason why, and I never believed in psychics at all, but the reason why I have Deb on, years ago, I worked a morning show in radio. And she came on, and I said, look, I don't believe in psychics. It says in the Bible, stay away from false prophets, blah, 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 blah. And
it says a lot of things in the Bible.
Yeah. So that scared me. And I said, we're going to do this for the entertainment value. My co-host wants you. And she said, that's fine. Afterwards, I got a little, inquisitive. And I said, yeah, would you mind? Okay, go ahead and give me a read. And she knew something about me that no one ever knew, and till this day I can't figure it out.
And it was face to face, right?
It was face to face, and I ended up crying.
Yeah.
And I had
You're like, I want to make people cry.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
It's so sad. But when I was younger, there was a foster boy that lived next door, and we were going to adopt him. Mm-hmm. And I was young too. I was like 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, Denise, come out and let's play. And I had an older friend there, and she said, if you play with him, I'm going to play. You know, when you're kids, I'm not going to play with you. I'm going to go play with Michelle.
Right.
So I said, Joey, I'll be right back. Don't do anything. And he told me, well, if you don't play with me, I'm going to go by the pool. And I said, Joey, everybody knows you're afraid of water. So just stop it and I'll be back. Well, sure enough, he ended up at the bottom of the pool, and we never adopted.
What?
Yeah. I know
He
that.
died?
He died. And I had so much guilt.
Welcome to the Dork Forest.
I know
you
you might want to edit this part out.
No, it's fine.
But
it's horrifying.
It's horrifying. So
and so it affected your life.
My entire life, I had so much guilt. But that was in California. I never shared it with anyone.
And you were 7.
7 or 8, yeah.
7 or 8. So you might want to let that go.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of therapy over it.
Good.
But through my family. I never even talked to like a professional therapist.
Right.
And so for her to pick that up, that scared me.
Right. You were like, oh, and the thing is, as I will say this about psychics and people who are intuitive, that there's obviously different levels to it. And there are empathetic people who are not empaths, they don't have a superpower. But I feel like there are people who get it.
Yeah.
Who have a connection with other people and with their surroundings and are much more attuned and attentive. You have to care
right
about other people to want to even aspire to be a tarot card reader.
Like, see, tarot cards, just you saying that scares me. Like, I would never go to a tarot card reader.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't. See, that's how scared I am of all this stuff. I think, like, is that the devil's work? Is that this? Is that? But I know Deb, and she's a really good person, and she always does it on a positive note.
Right. Well, and then the thing is like Karen tells me that she gets recurring calls from people because she does it over the phone. And for people who are like, well, I'm dating this married guy. Is he going to leave his wife? And Karen is like, no. I don't even have to read the cards to let you know that this isn't happening. You've made some bad life decisions. And to some extent, it's therapy, and all things can be used for, I think,
positive reasons.
Right, positive reasons and evil reasons. My oldest brother is an evangelist. And he is one of the meanest men that I've ever met in my life.
You're kidding me.
He is a genuinely angry, mean gentleman. He can be a good guy. That doesn't mean he can't be a good guy, but he's just mean. Yeah. And you're like, dude,
you're not supposed to be that way.
You're not helping because I like Jesus. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too.
I consider myself a Christian. I rarely mention it because everyone who talks about it usually then says something horrifying. Because I'm a huge fan also of separation, of my religion and my belief system should come out in my actions.
Right.
And so I know incredibly good people that are other religions. And I know people who don't like those other religions. And you're like, you don't get to not like a whole religion. You get to like and not like each person. You can't tell me you hate Mormons.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
You can't tell me you hate Muslims, and you can't tell me you hate anything. You could tell me you don't like Bill. Bill sounds like a piece of shit. On it. I agree.
And I agree there are some like man-made laws in religion that you may disagree with. Like, I consider myself spiritual. I don't consider myself like very religious.
Who's got the time to go to a church?
I know.
Such a
Anyway, back to the dorkism. Gosh, that went deep,
right?
didn't
It did. But it was a nice 10 minutes. So I say, here's what fascinated me. So, like, literally, when I go on the road and I do radio and I do television and I do all the local press, I'm done. I'm done doing it. And then you said, I have a podcast called This. And I was like, you seem really
I was
nice.
So excited, and I was nervous, wasn't I? I was nervous.
I know, and I was like, but you seem like a really nice woman. And I was like, well, let's hang out and be acquaintances and possibly friends.
Yes.
And so, and then...
You're going to be really sad that you gave me your phone number. I'm going to be going, so Jackie, what should I do here?
I'm doing now? Hey, look what I'm doing. We're texting now. Did you know? That's hilarious. But then you were talking about freaking metal detectors.
Yes.
You and your whole family.
Yeah.
2 boys, husband. You all own your own metal detectors?
We do it as a family, Jackie.
Do you each have your own items? Or do you share?
No. We share 3. We have 3 now. We started out with 1. And the reason why we started out metal detecting, and this is going to take a weird turn.
Please.
Grandma died.
Aw.
Yeah. Aww. So my husband's grandma.
Oh, your husband's grandmother died.
And she didn't believe in banks. And she was a little paranoid.
Oh my God.
She buried all of her money.
Yes.
She even at one point put silver bricks and gold bricks behind the wall, and then she fixed. Wait. Spackled the wall.
Okay, let me just unpack a little bit. She took silver, had it melted down and made into bricks, or bought bricks.
She bought bricks, and she bought silver coins too, and gold,
and hid them in the wall of her home
and outside. Buried them. That's where the metal detector came in.
That's where the metal. And does a metal detector detect silver and gold?
Yes, it does, and many other things too. It will tell you pretty much what you have, if it's silver, the expensive ones do. We had to go out.
An LED readout, like a screen?
Yeah, it does. And
so the first one you got?
The first one we got was a really nice one because there was a lot of money that she said was before we could sell her properties. And she had multiple properties that she got from multiple marriages.
Right. She was a mover.
As a matter of fact, an older gentleman showed up when we were at the house and asked Mike's mom and aunt if he could have his cattle and land back because she took it in the divorce. That's how she made so much money with all these men.
Oh, my God.
It was really strange.
And what happened with...
She gave it back to him. She said, absolutely. Mike's mom didn't have a good relationship with her mother.
Oh, and she was like, yeah, it'll be... And everybody's doing fine financially. There's absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Or did she sell it for... Did she sell it back to him? Or did she just go...
She gave it to him.
Yeah,
Marilyn has a really good heart. And she's
just like, she probably took you for a buggy ride here. Why don't you take your stuff back?
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
He left there smiling, walking on his cane because he was...
He's like, oh, thank you, God, I got my family's land back. Holy smokes. Yeah. Okay.
We would actually even find $100 bills in between book pages because she didn't believe in banks.
She didn't believe in banks. She clearly, this is an older lady who grew up during the Depression.
Great Depression, yes.
And, but clearly also fabulously wealthy.
Yes.
But hilariously wealthy.
But didn't seem like that. She lived in a mobile home.
Right. Which, I mean, if you live frugally.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to die and people are going to find the kitchen money. We have kitchen money. Andy thinks that I am 100 years old because he's like, why do we have money in the kitchen? And I'm like, just in case the Turks come. You don't know.
It's in the cookie jar.
It's in the cookie jar. We're hiding it somewhere obvious. And plus, if someone comes to the house and robs the house, take some money.
Yeah.
Have a couple of bucks. You're clearly in hard straits.
I'm glad you're saying that right now on the podcast. Leave us alone and just come take the money. It's in the kitchen.
Just take the money. It's in the kitchen. I mean, swear to God, if someone has had to burglarize homes, they're having a hard day. How about, here's a couple $100.
See, you're nicer than me. If someone came into my dad taught me the saying, I'd rather have 12 judge me than 6 carry me. So if they come into my home, they're going to get a 357.
Oh, that's right. During your podcast, you were like, or on the radio or something, you're like, I hope you got a conceal and carry weapon. And I was like, I don't know. We don't know each other very well. I'm clumsy. Oh. I should not be armed with any sort of firearm. Not even, I have a Swiss Army knife and it's in a case.
Are you kidding?
No, because I only want it for when I want to put jelly and the condo doesn't have any good knives. Anyway,
oh my gosh.
Anyway, here's
and you're traveling all over the world. That's scary.
Well, here's what I like to say. This is my father, he was in the Marines. And what we learned was always run. And he's like, and what I've always thought, and I've said this before, is I would rather trust someone and be killed than not. If my last words are, oh shit, I'm okay with that. That's an okay way to go.
You're hilarious.
It could be worse. Anyway, so you buy what? Now, what is a brand name of a metal detector?
Oh gosh, you know what? You got me there. I don't even know brand names.
Fair enough. You just go online and go, I want a nice...
My husband buys them.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. So he bought all 3 of them.
Okay.
But the first one he spent a lot more money on because literally we were out on the acreage and we found bags and bags and bags of silver coins.
Wow.
We found, like I said, she spackled the wall back because she had brick bars of silver and gold. Cash stuck everywhere. She was a little paranoid.
Rip apart the house.
Yeah.
To get this stuff. She didn't have there wasn't like a
It's kind of embarrassing to say.
Well, is it embarrassing to be this wealthy, or is it embarrassing
that we're out there going,
she was freaked out?
No, I'm not embarrassed for her. I'm embarrassed that us as a family is going, where'd Grandma hide the money?
Oh, no. You don't want to leave it.
No, and sell it to the next person and nobody knows.
Right, and then nobody knows, and then they one day, find it or don't find it, and then 100 years from now, someone's like, oh, it's weird when they learned how to produce silver and this isn't worth anything anymore.
And plus, but I think the reason why she had silver and gold bars instead of, cash dollars is because I think if something like the Great Depression happened again, or if you went into any place in the world, that would still be, you would trade that.
Do you remember that Twilight Zone though? There was a Twilight Zone where they invented Time Machine, which is a cash cow right there. I don't understand why they didn't just sell that. Anyway, or no, it wasn't a time machine. It was a cryo thing. Anyway,
cryotherapy?
No, like cryogenetics.
Oh, okay.
They essentially did a big heist, and then they were going to freeze themselves for 2 years. They accidentally froze themselves for 100 years or something in this Twilight Zone. They wake up and they kill each other for this bag of gold, and then futuristic people in silver clothing find them, and they're like, and they open the bag and they're like, oh, that's so weird that they would kill themselves over this useless metal that we learned how to invent.
Oh my God.
It's a classic Twilight Zone.
I remember growing up watching Twilight Zone, but the only one there's two that I truly remember. There was something out on the wing of the airplane. Do you remember that one?
Well, that's the one everybody talks about.
Yeah.
I never saw that one.
Oh my gosh, that was great. And then also, a lady wakes up from having surgery and everybody has no faces. No, the nurses and the doctor and everybody has no faces.
Oh, I remember the train station one where the guy just gets on a train and then he's trapped, and then it turns out it's a giant baby's train set.
Oh,
anyway, it's very weird. Anyway, so okay, so that's how it all started.
That's how it started, and then
you were like, we
fun.
like this.
Well, especially since we're finding treasure. It was an easy treasure to find. You know what I mean?
Right, you knew where to look.
Yeah, but then it went to.
And how old were your kids when you started doing this?
Oh gosh, let's see.
Little?
Yeah, they were little.
Like 5?
So Austin's 19 now, Wyatt's 16. So I would say probably 8 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
long
10
time.
years.
Long time.
10, 12 years you've been doing this. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and then we would take them home and we would go to even the park. The kids would want to go to the park and find the cars that kids would
like
leave,
Hot Wheels.
or Hot Wheels, or quarters, or earring. Sometimes it's a soda pop little thing that you could find.
The old flip. The
old ones,
yeah.
We found an old Coke can. We found, this one's good. In Missouri, my family lives in Missouri, my mom and dad. We found all kinds of things there, but the most interesting was a cannonball, an old cannonball from the war.
Like a big giant cannonball?
No, not giant. They used to make it about like a size.
Like shrapnel size?
Yes. Probably a size of a silver dollar. And it's round. And I took it to a historian. He said it was a cannonball that they used.
Weird.
Yeah.
So do you display these items in the home? What do you do with the items?
Okay.
Essentially, you're finding garbage.
That's a whole nother story. My husband is one wrench away from being a hoarder. I'm not kidding. I have a 3-car garage. I can't park in it.
Oh, so he's keeping the stuff.
He's keeping the stuff. Some stuff.
And did he keep any of the silver bars and stick them in the safety deposit box, hopefully?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have to live like his mom.
No.
He can live
like his grandma.
That's right, his grandmother.
We're very comfortable.
There we go. So why don't we put these in a bank like people? And
instead of in the wall.
Instead of the wall.
So when our grandkids come, they think, gosh, Grandma,
you can
Grandpa.
keep a small bag, a display bag with her ashes. Just tink. That'd be great. When my father-in-law passed, he wanted his ashes in shotgun shells. And so we shot off a bunch of his shotgun shells with his ashes, and then we also have 10 that have him in them.
Wow.
That are just sitting on in the house.
Where did you shoot the shotgun?
Well,
was there a specific place he wanted to be shot up into the air?
No, it was essentially, his wake was at my Andy's dad he trained bird dogs for field trials from horseback. So he had 6 acres in Arkansas. His wife still has that land, and it's adjacent to a national park. And he always had a boatload of dogs. Yeah. And so when we went there and his dad had ALS, and so Lou Gehrig's, and so when his dad passed. Finally, we had this, it's just a barbecue, and we all just talked about Clyde. It was really lovely. Aww. And then, the dogs, very sweet. And it was so funny because Cindy, his wife, was like, hey, he's got a bunch of guns. Do you guys want some guns? And he was like, I don't know what, no, I don't want a gun. And because we live in Los Angeles, we don't need a gun. And some people would say you definitely need a gun, but we don't need shotguns. He had some starter pistols.
We would be all over that in a heartbeat. My husband's a collector with guns.
Right. Well, one of Andy's uncles collects guns, and he has like a man-sized safe. Yep. He collects Winchesters.
Oh my gosh, that's it. That's it.
So he showed me the safe. We walk in, and I was like, "This is a safe full of guns." And then the two nephews. His grandsons come over and they're like, "Hey, Grandpa, can we fire at least the BB gun off?" And his Uncle Joe goes, "Well, you're going to need an adult supervision." Right. And they look at me and they're like, "Will you do it?" And I was like, "I'm the adult supervision."
You're in trouble,
sure.
folks.
And then we all go out and I was like, let's try not to kill each other. shoot her eyes out. And we had a lovely time shooting the BB gun. And
Is that the only gun you've ever shot?
Well, Andy, one year for my birthday, I wanted a cowboy birthday. So I wanted to go horseback riding, go to the gun range, and then have a barbecue. So we went to the gun range and I shot a bunch of different guns there. And it was super loud.
Yep.
And the gun range guy was very funny because we go in and there was just a bucket full of those headphones for silence. And I said, tell me you spray those like bowling shoes.
Oh, gosh, I never thought about that.
And he goes, no. And I go, well, I guess I'm building an immune system. And
or lice in your head.
Or some damn thing. And anyway, so you keep a lot of this stuff.
We do keep a lot of it, yeah. And
do you recycle a bunch of it? Because you're
some of the stuff we just throw away. Yeah, they're taking Although my son did find the Coca-Cola can. He was really proud of it, so we do have that. We kept that.
Okay.
But, I live with...
what are their favorite stuff to find?
Well, money. It's exciting when you find money. We found we did find a jewel, like a little earring. It wasn't nothing that was history that was going to be a lot of money or anything like that. It was somebody that lost it. But that was exciting too.
Do you find like gems too?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I will tell you.
Does it find it though?
Yeah, it will.
Or is it, what is it scanning for?
Well, it has to scan for some kind of metal. And it depends on the type of metal detector that you get, too. The more expensive, the fancier ones actually will tell you if it's nickel, if it's gold, if it's silver.
Aluminum or
anything. And this leads me to what I did. No, this is going to fascinate you.
Yeah.
For my 40th birthday, because we were so into it, I wanted to go see Forrest Fenn. And Forrest Fenn, you have to Google. As a matter of fact, I'll get my phone. Yeah. Forrest Fenn is an older gentleman who lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And he had a fascinating life. I mean, he fought in the war. He traveled the world. He ended up being an art collector. He was a treasure hunter.
Yeah.
And so he has a lot of treasure. Okay. I mean, he introduced us to his family, brought us into his home because I wanted to interview him, but I really wanted to find the treasure that he hidden.
Oh, that was that guy that hid the treasure.
Yes, and he wrote a book, and within the poem,
it's a scavenger hunt thing.
Yes, he wants to get people back outside. So the poem, let me see if I can Google it. The poem has all the clues you need to find
hints to find the treasure.
Yes, but people have died for this.
And he wrote a poem in the book with all the hints.
Yeah.
Like some sort of, I don't know, supervillain.
But he said, I'm like, what happens if you die? And he said, there's something to it. Like, I don't know if there's a sensor or something that they will know if it's been found. It has not been found yet.
Okay.
At all. So we took our metal detectors. And I wanted to go out there and I wanted to find, I met him. He had this bottle of whiskey that Jackie O, when he knew Jackie O, she drank out of. And he still had it there. And of course, I took swigs. I was like, ooh, I'm like Jackie O. I got drunk with Jackie. And hoping some of her DNA would rub off because I think she's so beautiful.
Right.
But we have yet to find the treasure. But
nobody's found the treasure.
Nobody's found the treasure as far as I know.
When did he bury it or hide it?
The Thrill of the Chase, he printed out in 2010. That's the name of the book. So, and he did it because he thought he was dying from cancer. Okay. And he survived it, but he's
probably still dying. We all are.
Well, he's pretty old right now, too. We should Google.
Was he in World War II?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He was.
So he's got to be in his 90s.
You have to have him on your podcast. I mean, the way, I think his dorkism.
I'd like to have Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett on your podcast,
yes.
yes.
If I'm going to have somebody super elderly, I want it to be Dick Cavett.
No, but he's really interesting. He has so many stories.
Sure.
And he is kind of like me. He's a treasure hunter.
Okay.
But he actually has treasure.
Right.
Me, I'm working 10 jobs just to get a flipping shoes that I like.
We're trying to do it.
Do the hustle. Here, I'm trying to find the poem here so I can read it to you.
Right.
So you can tell me if there's any clues that you have there.
And is there, did you ever read a book called Ready Player One?
No.
I wonder if it's based on that, because Ernie Klein, a guy out from Austin, he's been on the podcast, and there's a new movie called Ready Player One. Your sons have seen it.
Okay.
Anyway, it is essentially, it's about a guy like Bill Gates or somebody or the Apple guy, whose name I'm spacing.
Bill Gates and...
the Apple guy, everybody knows. Everybody who's listening knows. Anyway, he wore turtlenecks. And so it'd be like if one of those guys, before they died, put an Easter egg deep in the internet and said, you will own half of Apple or half of
If you
Google
find it.
if you discover this. And all the hints were late 70s, early 90s trivia kind of things. And the book is really, really good. The movie is very fun. But the book is better. And it's a real light read. It's super cute. But it's, I wonder if they got the idea
Exactly
from
like
him.
this?
Except for that, your friend, Mr. Forrest Fenn over here, would like people to go outside.
Because
these people
he
wanted
grew
to go
up.
into
Go in the computer.
virtual reality.
He grew up being outside and a lot of adventures, and he loved being in Wyoming with his family, and he just thinks it's kind of a bummer that most kids stay inside. So it's the
Right.
thrill of the chase. He wants people to get out and look for it. Unfortunately, a few people have died looking for it too, though.
That's so weird. How did they die?
Well, they went out when it was too cold and they wouldn't give up.
So
Or dangerous. Some think it's underwater, under waterfalls. And so here's the poem. You want me to read it to you? It's not very long.
Please do. My ad. I'm about to do an ad. Rangers, it's Jackie Cation with an ad for Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos all commission-free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't. They don't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as the 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, get custom notifications for price movements so that you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of the Dork Forest a free stock, like Apple, Ford, or Sprint, to help you build your portfolio. So sign up at forest.robinhood.com. It's forest.robinhood.com. Thanks a lot, you guys. Let's get back into the show.
It says, it's called The Thrill of the Chase. Notice I clear my throat like I'm doing a really great reading here. As I've gone alone in there and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where and hint of riches new and old. Begin it where warm waters halt and take it in canyon down, not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of brown. So people are thinking where warm waters halt and brown trout,
Canyons.
fish. Yeah. From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There will be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. But tarry scant and marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace. So why is that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answer is I already know. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. Here's the last part. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold if you are brave and in the wood. I give you title to the gold.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out right now with my little cheap metal detecting family.
I would, yeah. That is.
Aren't you happy you asked me now to be on your podcast?
Totally.
I'm a total dork.
That's crazy. That makes me think, I don't know, yeah, there's all kinds of weird, but literally, I am my father's daughter, and so I'm like, well, who buried it for this old guy, and is it still there?
Well, he said, and here's another thing, because people are thinking, is it in Wyoming? He'd love to go Wyoming. Is it in Colorado? But he said he was able to do it. He made 2 trips, and his wife didn't even know he was gone, and he had to make 2 trips because he was old and weak.
Okay.
So, but it's not in New Mexico. So where?
Oh, he said that it has been revealed that it is not
in New Mexico. He revealed more clues because after people died.
Right.
He was like, okay, I can't let people die. One of them was a priest too.
Well,
I'm serious.
Once the priest dies, then it's just that guy's going to haunt you. That's okay. So now you have 3.
3.
And do you still go out?
Sometimes we do. My boys are older now, so they're like, Mom and Dad are kooks.
Right.
But, every once in a while, we'll go out and we'll do things. Like I told you I went to the Bahamas.
Right, you guys went on a cruise. A Disney cruise. This was probably 5 years ago, right?
Yep, and we packed, maybe, it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And we packed one metal detector. You can fold it up. And when we stopped off at the Disney Island, we thought, well, we'll take it and we'll look on the beach.
Super fun.
Something hit, and Mike got a hit. So we started digging, and then all the kids started coming around that were with parents.
Right, sure.
So it caused like a little disturbance. And then the Disney people came over and said, no, you can't have that out. You got to go. So we thought, gosh, is there treasure there? And then Mike's opinion was in the Bahamas, maybe there was some kind of bomb or something they don't want
or
found,
drugs,
or missile or yeah.
Maybe it was a long box with, that'd be bad press for Disney.
It would be
if it was something disreputable. But Disney is so intense too. They want everything so regulated. They're digging a hole? Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Weirdo.
Well, they're probably thinking we are the weirdo because it wasn't a normal hole that you would dig a sandcastle. I mean, we were getting pretty deep. It was like 3 feet.
Right. You were just like, where the hell is it? How deep do the metal detectors that you have go?
That's a good question. You know what? I don't even know the answer to that.
Because you dug 3 feet and you didn't find
we didn't get anything. Yeah. But you also have like a little hand metal detector too. And it, so when you pick up the sand or the dirt, you put the little hand metal detector and it'll tell you ding, 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 if it goes off, if it's in your hand. And then if not, you got to keep digging.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's sort of like panning for gold.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So is it a stick with a flat thing on the end of it? It's one of those.
We have 3 of those. And then you have a hand one that's just kind of like, how can I describe it? If you go into...
Like a hand
this is nasty.
Cleaner?
If you go into an OBGYN and when you get an ultrasound vaginal and they stick it up in you,
like a
wand, that's what it is. That's what it looks like.
All right. That's all right. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. But we do have fun. And our other thing that we love to do is we like to go thrift store. We like to stop off at antique shops wherever we go. Like if we're driving to see my parents or driving to California, we'll find some little hidden gems and look around.
Right. And your husband will wish to purchase those.
Yeah, something that he can't live without.
Have you ever been to the Crazy Horse? The Crazy Horse National Park thing, except for it's privately owned by a bunch of different tribes.
It's out by Sturgis. Right?
Yeah, it's by Sturgis. Mm-hmm. It's by Sturgis.
I've been to Sturgis.
Right. Have you also been to the Four Presidents? Have you been to the...
I did, yes. Yeah, sorry. I said Sturgis. It's by Mount Rushmore.
It's over by Wall Drug, you guys. There's free water there. And,
well, listen, Sturgis was a weekend to remember for us. Okay.
That's awesome. Okay, so, but we go. And at Crazy Horse, I had been 1,000 years ago. And then we just went this last summer with Andy's moms. And we stopped. And there is did you go to the museum?
No.
Okay. Well, because I had never gone in. There's a couple of things that I recommend every time the damn Crazy Horse comes up. Because it costs $15 per carload of people to go in. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see the work that they're doing at Crazy Horse. And then there's a museum. And it's lovely. It might be $35 carload, whatever. But it's $15 per person extra if you want to get on a bus and go stand next to the nose.
You're kidding. And I thought they didn't finish it.
Well, no, it's still they're still working on it.
Oh, okay.
It's 4 times the size of Mount Rushmore.
Oh, wow.
It's going to take 100 years, and it doesn't matter because the nose is done. Anyway, and I'm so mad at myself that we didn't go because I didn't know about the $15 per person stand next to the nose and get your picture taken.
What do they have? Like a little level balcony out there that you could stand?
I think that they built like a little place where you could just stand and you could stand next to the nose and you could pick the nose.
That's what I was thinking. You knew exactly where my childish brain went. I'm like, I picked the nose.
Right, and you could, but like. I would, because that's what I would want to do with Mount Rushmore. I'd want to go stand next to a head.
Yeah.
But you can't, right? I mean, they're like, no. And, but you can with Crazy Horse because it's new. Yeah. And,
That's
So
cool. I'll
everybody
have to
should-
go next time.
Next time you go, spend the extra $15 and go stand next to the nose.
That's cool. That's like once in a lifetime kind of thing, though, too.
Exactly. And so that'll be neat. What were we talking about?
My dorkism.
he had, oh, right. So, that's what I was going to tell you, is that at the museum, the Native American Museum, the Indian Museum, they had all of those sort of old, racially either horrible or just doubtful, the depictions of these people.
Yeah.
And one of them was this amazing, there was like a baseball card set kind of thing that was made in the early 1900s, late 1800s, that you got bubble gum with an Indian card. And it was just different outfits and depictions. And so, I looked at this display. They had almost a full set. They are missing like 4 or 5 cards, and all of the write-ups next to this art, and a lot of it is just sort of like white people art about Indians from the 17 and 1800s and 1900s, and they're all written by Native American curators, right? So they're like, hey. These are really cool, but please do not call us these names. These are really cool looking, and they are great that they took, that they have these depictions of people from these hundreds of years ago, and
Right.
it's really neat. But we don't need to be called names, and so it's really kind of.
What were the names? Were they offensive names?
Yeah, just horrible Indian kind
I
of.
gotcha.
Just,
I gotcha. I understand now.
Just nightmare racist
Yeah.
names.
Oh,
And
that's
you're like,
horrible. And it was in the museum?
right, the museum had the cards and the sort of the, because they also came with kind of really kind of cool art.
Okay.
Or it was a depiction of the lifestyle or the lifetimes of actual people at the time who had very difficult lives. But they captured it in a piece of art that the current Native Americans and the current tribes are like, well, this is cool.
I understand now. I will tell you, going back to Forrest Fenn, some of the collecting items that he had, some of the treasures, Sitting Bull's pipe. He claims that it's Sitting Bull's pipe that he has.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the kind of treasure and collector he is.
Right. And I'm sure that, it's sort of like the Elgin marbles that are in the British Museum that are from Egypt. And there's a bunch of stuff from, like, Cambodian stuff from a lot of temples that are in the British Museum. And
have you been there? You're so knowledgeable. It's like you travel all over the world.
Well, I travel all over the world, and plus I read a lot of shitty historical fiction. And some of it's true, and some of it isn't. And some of it is interesting enough that I will do a little research to find out if it is indeed true.
See, I just watched the History Channel.
There you go.
I'm more of a watcher.
There you go. And you'll get some information, and some of it will be true, and some of it will be aliens.
Yes, that's true.
Right? Do you ever watch those UFO shows?
Some of it I do, but I'm really into the History Channel with The Curse of Oak Island. Again, it goes back to treasure hunting. I don't know why I'm obsessed. The Curse of Oak Island is an island in Canada, and these brothers are trying to find the treasure that it was hidden years ago, buried, and I don't even know how they were able to accomplish this. It was, it dates all the way back like into the 1800s. They found a piece of treasure, and they found a gem, and they found a cross to prove that it came. And then they found something from France that was on that Canada island. And
there's an island off the coast of what side of Canada? Like is West Coast or East Coast to your knowledge?
No,
don't know.
I don't know.
What's it called? Oak?
The Oak Island.
OAK.
Yep, it's the Curse of Oak Island, and people have tried to find it for years. I know it does, but it's and the one thing that drives me crazy, it doesn't really get anywhere each episode. They may find something, and they're about to find something else, and they'll go to another episode.
Geraldo.
That's exactly, they're Geraldoing me.
Remember the Geraldo with the opening the safe of Bugsy Malone or whoever the hell it was?
No, it wasn't Bugsy. It was another gangster. Yeah,
right,
and there was nothing in it.
There was nothing in it. I remember because I was in college. I had some serious drinking I wanted to do, but I got sucked into that. And so I stayed home on a Friday night and watched the whole damn thing. And I'm like, I could be drunk by now.
Did you kind of feel bad for him? I felt bad for him.
I didn't. I rarely felt bad for Geraldo Rivera. I was like, that guy's getting some. He's fine. And plus, I thought he knew.
You do?
Yeah, I thought he knew, and he was just like...
What a ratings letdown. Well, probably not a ratings letdown, but what a letdown.
It was a giant letdown.
Yeah.
And granted, if he knew, he must and he might not be the brightest guy in the world. I think that has been proven by history. But the thing is if he knew, he must have realized that this would follow his career for fucking ever.
Yeah.
But nope. He decided to do it anyway for the ratings. And he played it out. He played it out. So you love those treasure... What other treasure shows have you seen? Have you ever seen the like where they go into the Titanic? Or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. James Cameron has actually been to the deepest part of the ocean. And
didn't they lose the Titanic and then find it?
Yeah, they found it. Didn't they find it? They found it. Of course they did, because there's memorabilia all over in museums.
Right, but wasn't it lost for a long time, or?
Well, it went down, chick. Yeah, it was lost for a while. Sorry to break the news. That's the ending of the movie right there. The Molly Brown house.
Spoiler alert.
You know what? The Molly Brown house is here in Denver. I don't know. You know that, right?
I don't. Who's Molly Brown?
The unsinkable Molly Brown. Shut up. You know about marbles in Egypt and you don't know about Molly Brown? She was a survivor of the Titanic.
Oh, the unsinkable Molly Brown was, I feel like that was a Mary Tyler Moore movie.
No. She was a passenger on the Titanic.
And that's why she was called the
unsinkable Molly Brown. But she did. She came from wealth, and she was really an empowered woman. Like, she didn't take crap from anybody.
Right. She was probably monumentally overeducated for her time because she came from wealth.
Absolutely. Well, she came from... I think it was new money, if I remember, so she wasn't quite accepted into the circles. You have to go check out the museum.
So vulgar.
Yes, I know.
New money. What are you going to do
How
with it?
How dare she?
How dare your family?
Buy myself a nice pair of shoes and hat.
Watch it. Watch me walk away in these shoes. Anyway, so, but what, I mean, the thing is I know that there are, like, those on the Travel Channel and on...
Wouldn't that be the best job, too?
What?
The Travel Channel. I mean, to go places, to find treasure. And you know who else?
What treasure would you go find?
Forrest Fenn's.
Right?
No.
You would like that series?
I would really like to go. I think I'd like to go just look in Egypt and look around. I'm fascinated also by mummies. I know that's weird.
Oh, yeah.
But, and there's Josh Gates. Do you know who he is?
No.
On the history. You have to watch more of the History Channel.
I know it.
He has this great show. Destination Unknown.
Okay.
And he travels everywhere and he looks for different types of treasures.
Okay.
So
Josh Gates. Okay.
And he was in search of Atlantis. And so he went over to see if he could find the lost city. And then he was in search of Bigfoot. And he went over to see, all kinds of stuff. But I don't know.
Does he ever find anything cool adjacently?
Well, yeah, he has found, some old, where was he? The Aztec culture. He found some memorabilia. No, not scrolls. It was, I think, pottery or something like that.
Well, it makes more sense because scrolls wouldn't have lasted.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's the thing about mummies is that they sealed those tombs, and that's why everything lasted because there was no air.
Yeah.
And but have you ever been to a museum where the windows are open?
No.
Yeah, all over Italy and all over Cambodia, they got museums and they don't have any air conditioning.
So they open the windows?
They open the windows because it's hot, and you're like, hey, climate control, these paintings are like hundreds of years old. They're going to disintegrate in front of your face.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's craziness. No, I haven't traveled as much as you've traveled.
Well, I've been to stand-up.
I've been, yeah, exactly. And I couldn't believe that you go all over the world. Like, I thought it would just be...
Just Denver.
Here. No, not Denver, but in the States.
Boise. I'm going to Boise. And,
You were talking about going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And you performed there.
I did.
That's amazing.
It was good. It was nice. And I'm going to Europe in April to do like an armed forces thing. So it's just go stare at those people. Those people are bored. I don't know if you know much about the armed forces.
Yeah,
but,
that's wonderful that you do that. Yeah, that's wonderful you do that, honestly.
Well, it seems the least I could do to go to Brussels.
I've never been to Europe either, so that to me would be an amazing trip.
Okay, Mike.
I haven't.
Let me tell you what Mike ought to do. He ought to take some of the gold bars that
yes, I know.
His grandmother and take you to Florence and to Venice in May. You're going to want to go... Actually,
in the summer?
End of April, because May 1st is when holiday season starts in Europe, so I'm told. So you want to go before May 1st because it's less crowded.
Good.
And then you want to go after like September 1st or 6th or something like that because most of Europe takes the summer off. So and the weather's better. So I've never been to France. I really want to go to France.
I got to go check it out. I want to go to Ireland too.
Oh, I did a Dublin Comedy Festival a couple of years ago.
Really? I bet that was a hoot. A hoot.
And then we spent because Andy will come with me when I do something cool.
Yeah, I was depressed he didn't come to Denver because I think Denver's pretty cool, but I understand he'd rather go to Ireland. Yeah.
He's been. But like when I got booked in Ireland, he's like, "We're going to Ireland?" And I was like, well, I guess we are. We are both going. We went to Hong Kong, and then we went to Iceland. When we were in Ireland, we went to Iceland. And then and we spent 4 days driving around Ireland, or 4 or 5 days. And then we spent 4 or 5 days driving around Iceland, too, when I did Iceland.
That's craziness. How do you get booked? I mean, your agent just books you and calls you and says...
No, I don't have an agent.
You do it all by yourself?
Well, I got the festivals will ask you, and I remember I've been doing stand-up comedy for at least 100 years, and so everyone knows me. People don't know me, but
people do too know you. That's why I was nervous talking to you.
Yes,
I was like, oh.
Well, Denver knows me because Denver, for some reason, plays all of my comedy albums all the time,
constantly on our comedy channel.
It is hilarious, and I've been talking to these audiences here at the Comedy Works, and I'm like, you guys are lucky. I'm working on a new album because you've heard all of the other albums. The rest of the country hasn't heard all of the other albums, so I can do whatever I want. You people who have heard all of my other albums will be excited to hear the new stuff. And those of you who don't know who I am will be like, oh, I thought this would be better.
Oh, stop. Are you going to do you have a Netflix special? Come on, we need you to get a Netflix special.
Do you have that kind of power? Because, by God, there's a treasure hunt that I'm on.
I'm calling out right now to the Netflix people. No, there's a couple producers in town.
Well... Feel free to invoke my name.
You would be great.
Yeah, I would. But a Comedy Central special, I'll take anything, quite honestly. HBO, Showtime. It doesn't have to be. So, what other treasures? What's the worst treasures that you keep? Like,
okay?
Yeah.
On our 10th anniversary, we went to Mexico. And Mike got
Where did you go
little
in Mexico?
tipsy, the Riviera Maya, which was really nice. It was one of those all-inclusive things, which I highly recommend.
Resort-y kind of thing?
Yeah, I highly recommend because you can eat and drink as much as you want, and
you just chill.
You don't have to worry about it. Yeah,
nice.
But we went to Chichen Itza. And that was when it was open. Now you can't go to the top of the pyramids. They kind of sealed it off.
Yeah, because too many people.
Yeah. Have been doing damage.
You got to see the pyramids in Mexico?
Yeah.
That's
Chichen
literally
Itza.
the only thing I want to go to.
It was really, really cool. It was amazing. The steps are super, super small. Wow. It was hard to get down. I had to go down on my butt. Scared. It's super high. But they have local people that sell different items. And for some reason, Mike got really tipsy and he bought this gigantic necklace of a swordfish that's really obnoxious, that's silver, and a panther head, a wooden panther head.
Yeah, and a silver swordfish.
Sits it right in the middle of our family room. So it was a game for the longest time where I would hide it behind something, and I would argue. I'm like, why? My house is like a bachelor's pad.
Yeah,
I have 2 boys, a husband. I had to buy 2 female dogs just to get more estrogen in my freaking house. And it smells like sweaty socks. I have panther heads. My kids, so sweet, would bring home rocks for me, sometimes pieces of concrete, so I would have to display them.
They're like cats that are bringing you dead birds.
Yes. And it was their true love. They had one time Wyatt, this is when he was probably about 5. He came up on his skateboard, and his entire skateboard was filled with beautiful flowers with the roots still in them that he dug up out of somebody's yard. Mom, I brought you flowers. I said, oh, hurry, get them in the backyard.
Exactly. Oh, my God.
I replanted them. But so I did. Said, shh, don't tell the neighbors. My husband, he does have that panther head still displayed, and I think it's the gaudiest, the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Even though someone took time to make it, and I appreciate their craft, it's just...
It's not necessarily for you.
No, it's not. And I have a lot of rocks still displayed in my house.
Yeah. Where Andy's dad and his wife lived, and his wife still does, but his widow. But there's a crystal mine right there, and there's nothing to do. There's absolutely nothing to do when you are trapped in outside of Hot Springs in against a national park, unless you'd like to hike a bunch. Mm-hmm. And so every day I would take a walk over to the crystal mine because they had a gift shop. So I am the proud owner of many rocks because every day I'd go and I'd kind of go, I see a cool rock. And then I spent like $3 on a rock.
But are they crystals that you feel like bring you positive energy? Because mine are just like rocks that they bring
they're
home.
good-looking rocks.
Oh, they're good-looking rocks.
Yeah. They're just, I got some amethyst and I got some rose quartz. And I got some nice, there's ametite. And then there's a couple
You're like a geologist over here.
Well, they all had signs right in front of them.
Oh, okay, fancy pants. I was like, damn, this woman's so smart.
She's
I can't keep up with her.
It turns out they were labeled. And I did buy them. But it was...
Where do you have them displayed?
They're just wandering around on bookcases around our house.
Okay.
And Andy's like, a lot of rocks. There's a lot of rocks in our house. And I'm like, don't even talk to me about your Hot Wheel collection. And 'cause we have hundreds of Hot Wheels.
One day they're going to be worth a lot of money, though. That's what he says, right?
No, that's the funny thing, because we have at least 8,000 or 9,000 comic books, and none of it's going to be worth any money, and it doesn't matter, because he loves it, and it doesn't have to be worth anything.
That's cool.
But I did ask him to go through his comic books, and because I read them too. They're around the house.
Like Spider-Man?
Yeah, all
Superman?
of it. Yeah, all of it. And but the thing is, because a comic book only takes 20 minutes to read, so it's kind of a nice break from whatever you're doing, right? You're like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read a little Ms. Marvel. And then you read, and then you're done, and then you know what Ms. Marvel is up to.
See, that's what I need to do. Instead, I turn on the Housewives.
Right. And then you're like, I wonder what these people are doing. And now you know. And but it's... But I told him to go through, because he said, it's disappointing. I did start collecting these because they were going to be worth money. They were going to be a treasure.
Yeah.
But it turns out that all of them aren't. And so I said, so go through them and keep the ones that you think you'll reread, the ones that you think are worth some money, and the third nebulous thing that for keeping something would be you have some sort of connection to it. You're like, well, this was the first comic book I ever got. It's dog-eared. Like, I have a Hank Aaron baseball card.
Oh, that has to be worth some cash.
No, it's all ripped up. I mean, it's a hunk of junk. But it's and my brother's. I tricked it out of a kid, so it wasn't. I mean, there's
Did you?
Yeah, I'm not the
You
hero
were
of
one
that
of
story.
those.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
That happened to me.
Yeah, you were taking advantage.
I was. Yeah. I'm naive. I was so taken advantage of that I had this really nice game. It was the Bears, the Behringer Bears, or what were they called?
The Care Bears?
Nope.
No.
Going back even further than that.
Okay.
But anyway, it was like the Bear Town, and it was a really nice game. And my friend Lenny tricked me out of that game I go over to my sister and go, look what I traded Liddy for. It was a plastic spoon and a plastic bowl. I had to throw the ball up in the air and try and catch it with a spoon. And she got like a $50 game. Yeah. My sister marched back over there. Give it back to my sister.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean,
Very nice.
I was for many years a terrible person, and then I became a better person. And so, but still, we'll wake up in the morning.
You being terrible.
Well, that's making up for lost time. So, but still to this day, I will wake up and go, "Hey, try not to be a nightmare." And like, you ever walk through like the metal detector at the airport and go, "Am I a terrorist?" I am not. Good for me.
Do you ever get patted down?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder why they.
It is occasionally random.
Weird.
Do you know who it isn't random? Someone in a turban. That is not random, because that person gets patted down every time.
I know.
My friend Jeannie Yashere is a great comic out of, she's a British comic, but she is black. Mm-hmm. And like, her parents came from somewhere like a full on, and she told me, and I can't remember what country, because it turns out Africa is enormous. Yeah. But every time she comes back to the UK, they need her to talk, to hear her accent, like, because she has a British passport. She grew up in Great Britain, in London.
Yeah,
and so she went with a white male comic, and he was like, "Yeah, they stopped me too. Don't worry about it." And she's like,
"No, they don't.
Not the same. Yeah. And let us go through together." And he won't even talk to you. He'll just look at you, and then hand you your thing, and you'll go through. He'll look at me, and he'll go, Oh, were you on vacation?
Oh, really?
And so then she's like, no, I was working overseas. And because she filled out the paperwork, he knows exactly why everyone was out of town and came back. And so, and as after they got through, she said that she was like, it's the training of white people.
Just because she's black?
Nonstop. Yeah. Yeah.
See, to me, I go back being naive when it comes to that. I mean, of course, there's racism out there. We've talked about this, and a lot of ignorant people out there. But I would not. If he,
it's hard to know when you live. Like, I live in a very specific fishbowl, and I can be aware of things, and I can know it's injustice, and I can know all these things. But I don't know it until I'm standing next to someone and it happens to them. Or I watch a video online, or I get the anecdotal, horrible, 19 things a day where someone follows you in a store.
Yeah, I have friends that talk to me about that. That's actually happened. And to me, it's craziness.
And you're like, that seems insane.
Yeah, I can't believe what they go through. With her coming back, I would think the first thing, is she beautiful? Is he hitting on her? Is that why? I wouldn't have thought it's because she's black.
Good-looking people. Yeah,
maybe he wants to talk to her because she's beautiful, but I would not think it's because she's black. I just wouldn't have thought of that.
Right, but it was.
But there's a lot of ignorant people out there, like we talked about the peppermint patty lady, the whatever lady, she, and filming of the lemonade stand and all that crap that people go through.
You should know this, Denise Plante.
What?
It's been an hour.
Has it really? Are you cutting me off now?
Nope.
I was just getting started.
Oh, yeah. Janine Garofalo talked about beating, and at about an hour 10, I was like, you can keep talking about beating forever, but I'm turning the microphone off.
Beating? What do you mean beating?
She makes
beads.
Beads.
I thought you meant beating, like beating.
Oh, like beating
I was
people.
like, wow, you cut her off? That's brutal. You are a bad person.
Exactly. But so Denise Plante,
Thank you.
It's Plant with a T, Plante
Plant with an E.
That's it, an E. Denise Plante Denver on all the things. Instagram, Twitter, all the things.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
And Life and After with Denise and Deb is your podcast.
Thank you.
And any sort of, if somebody wanted to get into treasure hunting, any recommendations?
Get a metal detector. And definitely, I think the fun part is I'm still obsessed with Forrest Fenn's treasure. Get his book and
look into it.
You could actually Google it. You don't even need to get the book anymore.
Right.
It's so popular. You can Google it online and get the clues. But get outdoors, have fun with the family. There's also geocaching. That's kind of a fun mini treasure hunt too.
Right, where people hide scavenger hunt stuff all over the world. That
and
kind of
if
thing.
you take something, you have to leave it.
Right, I heard that there was someone who doing that in Angkor Wat, and then one of the
where is Angkor Wat?
It's in Cambodia.
See, again, I need to travel more.
But the thing is so somebody and they do it in like these old timey temples and stuff like that, and you're like, hey, it's not a construction site. You don't just get to leave like an army guy behind a rock. At the pyramids. Don't do that with your geocaching, my friends. Anyway, thank you for doing the Dork Forest.
Thank you for having me on. I hope I was entertaining enough.
Oh, yeah, you were. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh, my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?